To stage. Oh, I got it. Oh my God. Goodbye. Thank you. Hello. Oh shit. This has been an experience. I'm semi started. Let's see. All right. So I just have to send my invite to our special guest. Oops. And copy link. Oh my goodness. I think had some technical difficulties is not even describing it enough. And it's all my fault. And so I'm here now. Are you new to the podcast? Because I'm looking and I don't recognize the name. My name's Lizzie. I'm just waiting for my partner to show up. And we should have a guest in about 45 minutes. Well, you're here live. You're not a cat. Newish, I think. Yeah. My former partner and I, Alex, when we started, we were the first to podcast about the show. Nobody was talking about it. And here I am. Alex couldn't handle the stress of having to do this because we did a lot. And he just needed to step back and focus on family. And so now I have a new partner. Alex was the technical guy. I'm not the technical guy. And this is our first episode. So, yeah, there we go. I'm hoping it goes well. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I know that others had started podcasting about it, but we were podcasting about it year round. We had done several, I wouldn't say several, but we had rewatched or, watched all the episodes and podcasted about them. Just remembering I need to have my notes, my copious notes, and get them organized. So as soon as Lisa shows up, which hopefully will be any second, not sure why it's taking this long. All right, she did not have the link. Now she has the link. So, yeah. Oh my God, there is a lot. So, hopefully she's in any second. So, I can see that there's 3 of you live. Are you guys watching through YouTube? I'm trying to figure out where you have us from or how you're accessing this. The episode was pretty good. I'm not disappointed. All right, back down to 1 because I'm boring, apparently. I don't know what the referral link is to share. I don't know what that means. Okay. I guess I will share that. I don't know what that means, so forgive me. All right, great. You are watching it on YouTube. I'm going to tell you, I am expecting Douglas Hughes about 8 o'clock. Douglas Hughes is Yellow Man. So there is that to look forward to. I can't believe I didn't say anything. Just put this in while I'm waiting for her. I think I see something. Lisa, let me just add you to the page.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yay.
Oh my God, I was not expecting to see that. All right, so I'm just going to start, and we have people filtering in, which is great. So it's Lizzie, and I'm back, and this is the What Is From cast. And I want to introduce you to my new podcast partner and one of my total BFFs, Lisa.
Hello. How are you?
Good. The hair looks great. That went
thanks.
well.
Thank you.
So Alex decided to step back from the podcast. Trust me, all good feelings. I was just on the phone with him with all my technical difficulties, so it's not like something went wrong. He just decided and realized he needed to spend some more time with family, and that's okay. This stuff takes up a lot of time, and plus we were podcasting. We didn't stop podcasting about the show. We continued to talk. So I'm so excited to be back. Season 4. And they just announced that they have renewed through season 5, and that will be the final season. What does everyone think about that? Lisa, that's you.
That's me. I'm everyone.
You're
Well,
everyone.
I think it's great that it has a final season. And I also think that it's great that I think it could probably go for 2 or 3 more seasons and still be really good. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of shows have gone for longer. Lost, for example, went for how many seasons, right? I mean, the story could probably go on, but knowing that we have an end date might be a good thing. I don't know. For the
Yeah.
storytelling, it might be a good thing.
It might be a good thing. I think there were a lot of lessons learned with Lost.
Yeah.
And that's why it's stopping at 5. But it's okay. We didn't get answers, or a lot of answers with Lost, and we're going to get them here with this show, which is fabulous. So let's get into it. We are going to go through several sections. I think it's going to be interesting. I know how the dynamic was with Alex and I, and I'm just as excited to talk about it. And I'm sure there will be a lot of interrupting and all sorts of fun stuff like that, because that's what you do when you're talking about something you're excited about. So we're going to start where everything ended, just like the episode started. So this is season 4, episode 1, The Arrival. And I still like the way the show ended last season. I thought was phenomenal between the three stories: the Tabitha and Jade, um, Jim, Yellow Man, the introduction of Yellow Man, and what's her name, Julie, and then the birth or rebirth of Smiley. And that's, it's still like when I just think about him just being in that sack and growing and then turning around with that smile, it was the creepiest thing. It was just unbelievable.
It was very creepy.
And then when we see him in the tunnels and he's like buttoning up his shirt and he's still got crap all over his face. Yeah. But at any rate, so I'd like to start where it all ended. And we have Yellow Man. I believe he's talking to Julie at that moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they actually, they started it right where they left off. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like 2 seconds. It's like, I thought that was really cool though. I kind of
Yeah.
thought that there would be a time jump,
Yeah.
but I think the way they did it was great. I really liked that it just started where it left off. And then
Yeah.
Julie was just gone all, and I want to say that I think the Yellow Man was a little shocked when Julie disappeared. Like
I think,
he looked a little kind of, like he wasn't expecting that,
yeah, I agree. We start and Jim's neck has just been ripped out and Julie's horrified. And, he says people are such fragile things. And we're going to be able to ask him later tonight why. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing to say fragile versus fragile. So I'm wondering, I don't know. It's just a language thing, and I'm just wondering which it is. But I didn't tell you, Lisa, but he is joining us in less
Well,
than an hour at this point.
that
You
is a
were
really
about,
nice surprise.
yeah, you're about to meet Yellow Man.
Nice. Hope I don't
Douglas
have
Hughes.
nightmares now.
Yeah, I know. The funny thing is he is so nothing like that. And it's just, it was like I saw the look of surprise like you did on his face when he had turned toward Jim, I think for a second, and then turned away, and she was gone. And I tried to pay attention where, like she was on the ground and I was looking at what was behind her. And there were two like roots or vines that were at the base of the tree. And so it was perfectly lined up. So I knew like she was just gone. And the thing that he said was, we have to stop meeting like this. Where did you come from this time?
Did he say, okay, yeah, that's what he did say. He said, "Where did you
Yeah.
come from this time?" Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's definitely time traveling, or she's like story. Well, how I
She's
think
a
I read
story walker.
I was story walker, right? So
Yeah.
she's but he seems like he knows everything. Like he
Yeah.
mentioned something about you can't change a story that's already been told, right?
Right. Once
So
it's been told. Yep.
once it's been told, you can't change it. And
Yeah.
she was there to try to keep Jim from being killed, right? She was there to try to warn him and trying to change that outcome.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably why I thought he looked like when she disappeared so quickly. It was
Yeah.
like he seems to know everything, and why would he like be shocked at anything, right?
Yeah. That she surprised him by not being there. Like he probably was going to go after her next. And it was surprise and disappointment that she wasn't there. So, and Ethan had said the same thing, you know, the story's already been told, you can't change it type thing.
Hmm.
And it just made me think of the Lake of Tears, that sort of thing. um, McGurkin or McMurkin. I don't know how to refer to you. Like he's saying or she's saying, I think it's a him, that he thinks Julie disappears because Randall pulled her out of the ruins. I think he said, "When did you come from this time?" I don't know. I wrote
yeah,
where.
I think he said, "When did you come from this time?" I think that's what
Okay.
he said.
Yeah. Michael. Oh, Gamerkin. It's Michael. All right. So like future Julie goes one place and future Julie goes somewhere else, maybe even earlier. I'm wondering, I I think we're going to find out hopefully this season about the whole time traveling thing, even if it's not a complete story. Now we know it will be tied up in the next season or the last season, so that's good news. Um, so it's just, I think that Yellow Man is just kind of yummy, like taunting Jim as Jim dies. Like he's just so full on.
And he's
Like,
so looking forward to what comes. This is his favorite part, right?
yeah, this is his
Um,
favorite part.
he
But he
says that a
doesn't
couple
say
of times.
why. Oh, wait a minute. He
He
doesn't say
he
why until the very
until the
end
very end, and then he says why, which is kind of like,
because where
oh,
they rip themselves apart.
hmm
So yeah, yeah. The notes where it's I don't know. These are the notes. I posted pictures of the notes. You can follow me on WF. No, is it W from cast? I can't remember. We're on what do they call it? Instagram. Trying to
yeah,
blank all of a
the
sudden.
gram. You're on.
The
You're
gram.
on the
We're on the
gram.
gram.
You're on the
Um,
gram.
and I'm on there quite frequently. Frequently. Yeah. W from cast. So if you want to follow us there, you can do that. Um, so all right. So where I wanted to start was I have to go back and look at my list, start
I
where we
mean,
ended. So then we jump into Sophia's story. So when he realizes that, Jim is dead, what he ends up doing is he realizes he needs to shapeshift, and he shapeshifts into a young woman who I'm hearing is supposed to be about 15 years old.
looked older than 15 to me.
I thought so too. I was thinking like
Because
18, 19.
here's the thing: when Sophia, you know, I kept, I didn't rewind. I just watched it one straight shot.
Yeah,
When he got out of the car, when he was, he saw the tree down. I didn't remember seeing anybody in the car with him. Like, but I
right.
didn't, did they, but then I'm thinking maybe they just didn't pan far enough. And so I was a little bit, when they had the accident, she seemed really concerned about her father, but she kept calling him daddy, which I thought was kind of odd at that age. And then they said,
Well, I
but
mean,
then when Randall, when he said, "Oh, she must be, she couldn't be more than 15," I'm thinking, no, she seemed a little bit older than 15, which was, why I thought it was a little bit weird. But whoever that actress is playing Sophia did a great job, because I really felt like there was genuine concern for her father, who
right.
was in the car.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was creepy.
yeah, it really was. So he pulls the suitcase out of the dirt. He's got the suitcase buried. So it kind of makes me think that he's got stuff buried all over the place, or that he lives in the woods type thing, because he is kind of filthy. And did you recognize the suitcase?
I did not.
Okay, so we see it in the tunnels. And one of the times that we see it, there's some bridal gear, like from a bride, that's in it.
Okay.
So maybe because we know one of the monsters is a bride, maybe he's the leader or something like that. And he switches it up sometimes, and, he roams with them at night. So he digs up the suitcase and he takes off the suit, was not expecting to get a little, bum shot there. I was really surprised.
The whole thing was creepy. It was just,
It was.
the whole thing
I
was just
loved
kind of
all the
creepy.
bone stuff. That was so cool. Like, it reminded me of Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
Yeah, and then
Um,
the arm stretch afterwards when he completes the transformation to Sophia, that was like, holy. It was kind of, I wasn't expecting that.
I
Because
was
I
trying to figure out if I could do that. I
no,
feel like I could have done that when I was a kid.
maybe, I don't know. I think I don't think I could ever do that. I was never that limber, but it was just that, even being, I know that a lot of people can do that. I've seen a lot of people do it. It's a thing,
Yeah.
um
I mean,
but
I can
it
only do
added to
it.
the scene.
Yeah. I can only do it slightly. Like, if I stand up and put my arms behind me and clasp them, that's it. I could not rotate them forward. So maybe she's double jointed and that is something that she brought to the role. I don't
Yeah.
know. But I think her calling him daddy was creepy, but I think if they were devout, I'm going to assume Christians, like, from a small town or whatever, like that might be, like I
Yeah.
remember calling my dad daddy once, and he's like, "Don't you ever call me that again." I was like, I
Yeah.
don't even know why I called you that to begin with.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Yeah. Just
so
thinking, like, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those, you call your dad daddy when you're like 5 or 6, not when you're
yeah,
a teenager or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, so Sophia ends up, I wonder where he chose that name. Wonder if we'll see the white wedding dress show up like in the drawing in Victor's room that Henry finds. Would be creepy if the man in yellow puts on Miranda's face to mess with Henry. That would be creepy.
That would be so
And
creepy.
and the whole time that we've been watching this show, we haven't heard Victor refer to this man at all. And I got to think that they might have seen each other around. Like, the things that wander in the woods are like the German Shepherd dogs, and apparently the man in yellow and the monsters, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, what if this guy is, he only comes out at the end of the story? Like, he's kind of like, and it's just something to think about, right? Because we
Yeah,
haven't really, until last, like, he hadn't been mentioned, nothing had kind of come about, and like you said, Victor's never seen him.
yeah,
Until we see the paintings, Miranda's paintings, and I think there's a painting of the yellow man in there.
yeah,
But that's really the first reference that we get of him. So I wonder if he maybe just only comes out when the story's getting ready to end. Like, he keeps,
maybe.
like you said, maybe he just like watches, and this is, he seems to enjoy it. Like,
Yeah,
this is his favorite part. So it'll be interesting to see how they develop this character through
yeah.
this season and the next.
And I'm wondering if he's always been part of the plan or if it was something that came in, like someone was like, we need something else to balance us out. I don't know. But Sophia ends up in the clinic. It seems like a lot of times people end up in the clinic.
Yeah.
And, you know, Kenny and Marielle are watching Sophia pray over her father, and she's really good at it. Like, this man in
So
yellow,
convincing. Yeah.
yeah, very convincing. You would think that,
Like,
who she's
my water
saying she
bottle is
she
yellow, by the
is.
way.
Yeah. So then she gets up and does the typical thing that any one of us would have done. Can I get a phone? I need to call my mother. I mean, that makes sense. And, Kenny's got to say to her, you're not in any ordinary place. There are no phones. There's nothing here. You're trapped, basically. And I I can't imagine if that happened to us in, this day and age, but I know, and it feels like it keeps coming up lately. There's a place in West Virginia called Green Bank, and you cannot have cell service there. So you're always looking for a payphone if you're out and about, because, they can't have radio frequencies there. So Kenny and Sophia talk, and he's explaining the talisman, and she's like, she calls it a rock, like this rock, like, and that sounds like the Yellow Man, like this flimsy little rock is going to protect you. And she goes to move it, and he's like, don't touch that.
Yeah.
Get your hands off of that. But I did really like how they kind of flashed back her getting ready, and then going out to the street, and the poor preacher driving by who's realizing that he is stuck and sees her and is a good man, so he stops. I mean, she does not look like a threat, and he stops and picks her up, and that's how she ends up coming into town. But I don't know if the preacher I doubt he drove through even once. I think she caught him as he was about to drive into town for the first time.
Yeah, he probably didn't even know he was stuck yet.
Yeah.
I would think, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he did. And, because no one was surprised to see them. They were just surprised that they crashed into the building,
Right.
But later on, when she sees that Kenny is sleeping, she goes to the man and like touches his chest and brings him out of his sleep. If he was unconscious, she made him conscious. He didn't speak, and she just basically explains what's happening, and that she couldn't come to these people as she really was. And I wonder if he was looking at her, if he could see that she was a demon of some sort. Like, did he know? Like, what did he know? And I thought
I don't know. That's a good question.
And I thought the interesting thing that he or she said was that I couldn't come to them, as I was, because they know too much. And it makes me wonder if in all the times that this game has played itself out, if these people are the furthest along than other groups.
Yeah, I think that's why I think that's why this series or this season and the next is going to be so interesting, because we know we have an end date. We know that next season is the last one. So they have this season, next season to wrap up all these storylines. So that's the one thing that's kind of great, is we know we're going to get some closure, and a lot of these things will be explained. But there
Yeah.
are a lot of different threads, and you've got the tunnels, and you've got, there's so many things in the woods, and they keep finding new things in the woods all the time. And then with Jade and Tabitha remembering their
Yeah.
past and knowing that they have been here before, I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. I do. How you have like muscle memory? I'm wondering if this has become something like muscle memory at this point, that they're coming in and bells are ringing, past cycles have gone badly for various reasons, like the boy in white says to Victor, hence why he's taking more of a hands-off approach this cycle. Yeah. I think they're coming in with more muscle memory than they've had in the past. I don't know. I'm ready to move on to Fatima, if you're interested.
Sure.
Okay. So, as I do when I go through these notes, or when I'm going through the whole process of the notes, like I write them and I just kind of group them. And then I go back afterwards and I'm trying to decide the order in which we're going to talk about them, which is always up for debate. Just so you know, this is just the first time. But I start to notice patterns. And, Fatima, we basically pick up right after the baby has been taken, or the so-called baby has been taken by
The thing, the
kimono
smiley
woman.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God.
I was,
And she's telling, Ellis and Kenny, I was going to call him Kennedy. Ellis and Kenny, I'm still doing it, about them, that they sacrificed their children. And they're kind of like, what are you talking about? Because she just kind of jumps in with that. But it confirms what Tabitha and Jade have just learned, right? And the thing that she's pissed about is that, she was pissed at Christy because she's like, I kept telling you there was something in there. I was telling you that something was wrong with me. I'm not going to walk around eating garbage for no reason.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm normal, but there is something abnormal inside my body right now. And no one was listening to me. But I mean, what was Christy supposed to do? They looked at the ultrasound. There was nothing there.
Right.
There was nothing to suggest that she was pregnant, right? So she is like, during this process, I think during the process of giving birth, she's like, I had a glimpse of something. And when she starts talking about it, I'm like, that's an awfully long glimpse. That there were people once that made a bargain with something horrible. And I'm wondering if it's just a sense that it's horrible or if she actually saw something. Whatever it is, it's always been here. Maybe the first weren't the first. That's what I'm thinking. Like, we know that us Anglos were not the first people on this land. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they are somewhere in the contiguous North America, right? But they actually could be anywhere. But maybe this iteration of the story, going back to where the monsters originated, maybe they weren't the first. Maybe they weren't the first time, is what I'm saying. Maybe there were other peoples before them, as this game, if it is a game, worked itself out, like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and she only says that they made a deal with something horrible. She didn't say what they made a deal with. And then it's kind of like,
Yeah.
Why did they made the deal so that they could be immortal? Like,
Yeah.
what has to happen to get an entire group of people to want to be able to sacrifice their children to be immortal? So they had to have been tricked by something, right? There
Yeah.
maybe whatever the demon is that inhabits this land or whatever. And is that
Yeah.
the yellow man? I mean, who?
Yeah.
I mean,
It,
there's a lot of questions that I hope that they answer.
yeah. It's, yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Let's see. Ask about the birth. Fatima asks that the woman that wasn't there, or the thing that came out of Christy said wasn't what? Oh, that's just her complaining about that. But Fatima says she just had a glimpse, saw what they did, how they became what they are. They made a bargain because something, and she said something, promised them that they would live forever, which they are living forever and apparently cannot die. And Smiley seemed pretty damn happy to be back, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we
So
just have to go by the look on his face. She gets frustrated and wants a shower. And then the next time we see her, she's standing in the shower with
with all her
nightgown
clothes
on.
on. Yeah.
And maybe I mean, I wasn't looking for a nude scene. I really don't
No.
need to see Fatima naked, but I think this just told us that something was off with her.
Yeah, I don't think that she's, and it seems like she's like, she had the glimpse, but then it seems like she's starting to forget it, kind of, right?
Yeah.
She seems a little more confused.
Well,
Yeah,
isn't
I
that
don't.
sort of like the pain of childbirth and why women keep going through it? You kind of forget some of it.
Yeah, yeah, but this is like, I don't know. It was just like a, it's, I just think that whatever it is so, because he was actually able to kill Smiley, right? And
Yeah.
he might, that might have been the first one that's ever been,
Killed.
like, they killed him, right?
Yeah.
And then her having this thing, has that ever happened before? Like, and when you talk about, are, have these people gotten further than any other group before them? There's just a lot of, there's a lot of what ifs and a lot of questions, but that's another thing that pops into my head. Is she the only person who's given birth to something that's died in this town? Like, has that ever happened in any of the previous stories before?
Yeah. 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 I mean, that's basically it. Like, I wonder I wonder how much we might get in flashbacks, that sort of thing. Like, will there be a lot more flashback stuff in the next, this season
Hmm.
and next? All right. I'd like to move on to Boyd if we could.
Okay.
I've got Boyd all over my notes. But the thing
Or
that
Boyd. Or
I
Boyd.
know, Boyd is just broken, just
He is.
utterly broken. Like, everyone is looking to him to fix things and to be like Johnny on the spot. And he blows up at um, Ellis, and he's just like, I'm not that guy. Like, that's not who I am. Like, I mean, Ellis has had his father his entire life fixing things and always being the guy, Mr. Fish and Loaves, right? And it's like they took that and they showed him, like, can't do that. You're not Mr. Fish and Loaves. You're not all that. And it's really kind of painful. And if you look at him, like, I don't know if they are adding gray to his beard, but there's so much more of it.
Well,
If you
and
notice,
they might be. I mean, this guy has been, he's been through so much, and I think
Yeah,
it's just like the crushing reality that they're never getting out of there, right? I mean, I
yeah,
think he's come to, like, I think at one point, he's been searching for a way to get out. He's been
yeah,
searching for a way to rescue everybody and to get everybody out. And it just seems like, he, when he saw Smiley, like, that kind of like proved that those things can't be killed, that they will come back.
yeah,
And it's just this crushing, like, he's losing it, like
yeah.
counting out the bullets, like, how many people do we have?
Oh my
And
God.
counting out the
I
bullets,
know.
I'm
Like,
like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
yeah, that was awful. Like, he goes, before Sophia comes in, he goes busting into the sheriff's office and he's just like, we're fucked. We are just fucked. We cannot win this. And
Hmm.
just the only other way out of this is suicide. And how are we going to do it? And do we have enough? And now, like, all of a sudden, he's become Jim Jones in a sense because he's like, let's make some Kool-Aid. We're going to get this taken care of. We can't win no matter what we do. Just like you said, he kills Smiley, and then Smiley just pops right back up.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, like, would
And
Julie be the
didn't,
next one?
and Smiley didn't just pop right up. Smiley, like, for poor Fatima had to
Fatima.
go through this pregnancy that wasn't a pregnancy and then give
Yeah.
birth to this thing. I mean, it was kind of traumatic. So
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
like he just comes up out of the ground. That would be the easy part, but no, had to
Yeah.
come out of somebody, which was crazy. So
And they didn't even have to have working parts to do it. Like Julie is a young person. It could have been Tabitha, right? So what about even Donna? Donna's got to be in menopause. It could have been Donna. Like
mhm.
it's like it had to be someone that just had the parts, you know?
Yeah,
Um, but it's like, right afterwards, I just remember, Kenny going down those stairs, and the stairs seemed endless. And as he's going down the stairs, I'm like looking for little clues on the stairs. Like, are there any carvings? Did someone write anything? And nothing. It was just like stair after stair after stair. And I'm like, oh my God, Kenny, how could you do that? Like, it just seems so brave. And then all of a sudden, Boyd is
Boyd pops up. Yeah, no,
that was
yeah,
just scary. That was just,
that
oh
was a
my
jump
God.
scare for sure. It really was.
Yeah,
Um, No, but I do think that you're right. Boyd has been the emotional anchor for everyone. And the
everyone.
fact that he's like, I love the scene between him and his son, and he's just like his son is like, I think his son is trying to give him some encouragement and saying, you can lean on me in a way, right? But he's like,
Yeah,
you have to stay strong because everyone looks to you.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, just, oh, I was about to tip everything over. Um, his, God, and I don't know. I have felt a lot like this lately, but him just screaming that there's no way to win,
yeah,
like, this is it. This is a dead end. And then just going straight to, all right, we can opt out anytime we want then,
yeah,
because we're not getting out of here.
yeah.
Um,
It's like a never ending nightmare, basically.
yeah,
It's like this loop. So
yeah,
and you just
yep.
have to wonder how many loops have there been, right? But I mean, who's been there the longest? Donna? Has
Victor.
Donna been there the Victor? Well, Victor's been there the
Well,
longest.
and then Donna Cotry was there when she got there, or when Boyd, because like we just know when Boyd got there. Not That's not true. I went looking for my magnetic board, arrival board, this morning and could not find it. I don't know where half my stuff is. I really don't.
You'll find it. I'm sure you're gonna find it.
I
You're gonna
have
find
to
it.
find it. I work so hard on that. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. It is exactly the
It's
Hotel
like Hotel
California.
California. Exactly.
Um, so he runs into Acosta. We haven't even talked about Acosta yet, but Califrumville or Califrumia.
I love that. Yeah. I love that
Yeah.
California.
So he wants to talk to her, but she doesn't want anything to do with him, which is understandable. But I came to this conclusion today that I don't think she was meant to live. I think she was a tool to get Tabitha back to From, and was supposed to die with the two ambulance guys,
They did
because
die immediately. Yeah.
yeah, they died right away. And like, I think the monsters failed. Oh, guess what? We have company. Add to stage. Company's here.
Good evening,
Hello.
ladies.
How are you?
Hi. Doug, this is my friend and new podcast partner, Lisa. Lisa, this is Doug Hughes.
Hi,
Doug,
Lisa.
it's very nice to meet you. This was a nice surprise. I didn't know you were going to be on this podcast. So
Well, I didn't know till a little while ago either, so there you
I
go.
know. I know. I certainly hadn't set this up like all week, and I'm going to surprise you. I was just
well,
like,
what was a nice surprise.
if
Yeah,
you're
it was a really
around,
nice
like,
surprise.
Doug and I talked for about 3 hours while I was driving from Georgia to Massachusetts. And
That's so cool.
it was the fastest 3 hours.
Yes, I should have remembered that you were south of Boston because we had that long conversation when you were on your way there last year. But There's been a lot going on lately, so
Yeah. So what do you think? I know you've done a couple things today. Like how are you feeling about all this?
Well, after last year's,
Yeah.
conflagration, I think I was kind of prepared for the response that this was going to get,
Yeah.
particularly after knowing the content of episode 1.
Yeah.
People would ask me if I could say anything about it, and I would just say to them, I'll just say this: you're gonna shit yourselves.
I think that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean
No,
Majumder's description of season 4 is going to be fucking bananas.
Yeah. It's starting out that way. Like, I'm worried that we won't see enough Man in Yellow because now we have Sophia. And I'm just wondering if the two of you can exist simultaneously.
I can't comment on that, I'm afraid. Sorry.
What?
Sorry, can't go there.
I can't believe it.
No.
Oh,
Can't talk about
I
season
know.
4.
Yeah, no, I would be really pissed if you told me. To be honest, like I don't want to know.
And I hate, like, I was kind of upset with the last trailer that they put out because it really kind of gave away the Sophia Man in Yellow connection. Like a lot of people immediately picked up on that. And I thought, what did you spoil that one for? That was such a good surprise.
I know. I started a new job and I have absolutely no time. Like Lisa is someone that I would talk to one way or another every single day. Have barely talked to her since January. And so when the second trailer dropped, normally I'm sitting there with my fine tooth comb and I'm like picking it apart, almost like picking out lice or something from someone's hair or whatever, getting every little tidbit. And I totally did not do that this time.
By the way, it's 8:00 if you're interested in going live on time.
Oh, we're live already.
We're live already. Oh, sorry.
You're already live.
Yeah. We started late because of a very, very stupid technical difficulty. I'm so mad at myself. There's this thing that slides across the camera and it wasn't showing that I was online. People could hear me, but they couldn't see me. And I'm like, oh my God, when I finally thought to move the shutter across, I was not happy. So we were a little bit late, but that's okay. We're here now. And the episode, I don't know, like the whole thing. Oh, you can comment on this. So when in the opening part, which is the continuation of last season,
Yes.
You kill Jim and then you're talking to Julie. You look away for a second and she's gone. Not you, but Man in Yellow, Yellow Man.
Yeah.
Has that happened to him before?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. That's a good answer.
Yeah. I mean, well,
as a blanket statement, I know far less about the Man in Yellow than people think I do. I basically know what every viewer who has seen last year's finale and this year's first episode, whatever they know, that's basically what I know.
Forgive me, can I just jump in and ask a question that's kind of just Doug centric and not necessarily Man in Yellow centric, but
Sure.
What was it like getting this role? Because this is like this is such a cool part to play and such an amazing show. What was that experience like for you?
Well, Lizzie has heard this story already, as have
I'll
probably
hear it again.
Listening, but I actually auditioned for From before the first season, back about 5 years ago. I read for one character, and I have to tell you, I knew nothing about the series. You get these auditions for things that haven't been produced yet, and all you know is what's in the sides. So I've got about 3 or 4 pages of dialogue, and I just reading this opening scene, I went, "Who's the genius who wrote this stuff? This is awesome." So So I got a call back and I did a second reading for that character. And then they called and they said, okay, we're going to go another direction with that character. We want you to read this guy. So same process with this second role. And again, everything they gave me to read, I just thought, this is like the best writing for TV I've ever seen. This stuff is
Yeah.
amazing.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Didn't
Yeah.
get either role. And,
Yeah.
you know, I
Which
didn't
parts
have,
were they?
I'm not going to say, sorry. I don't
Okay.
wanna-
All right.
But I didn't have any streaming services at all at the time. So I never got to see From. 3.5 years go by, and then my agent gets a call one day from this casting woman here in Toronto who was doing an availability check, asked if I was free for the next 4 weeks. And I said, "You kidding? I'm free for the rest of my friggin' life. What are you talking about?" And so about 3.5 weeks went by, and then I got an opportunity to do a day job that I occasionally do. In fact, I'm doing one this week. I sometimes work as a standardized patient for the University of Toronto when they're doing
That's amazing.
exams for students and stuff like that. And my agent said, no, you're still being considered for this thing. And I had given up on it. This was like 3.5 weeks into the 4 weeks period that I was supposedly available, right? And then she said initially that they were just going to cast with audition reels. So they sent in my demo reel and that was it. When I had that conversation with her, and this was like right near the end of the week, she said, they've decided they actually want to do Zoom auditions. And they apologized because it's such a short role. And it's like, what are you talking about? I read for roles like this all the time. What are they apologizing for? But the rationale for doing Zoom auditions was that if there was going to be a season 4, apparently this was going to be a character of some consequence. And so they wanted to see people in person. Well, not in person. It was a Zoom audition.
Yeah.
So I did the audition on a Saturday afternoon with Jack. We literally did the scene twice. And again, when they sent me the script, I took one look at it and I went, man, whoever gets this role just got handed the gift of a lifetime.
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
imagine a better entrance for a character than that? I mean,
Yeah.
geez,
Yeah.
you know, and I just thought, oh, I would kill for this. Little did I know.
Yeah.
And so I did the scene once, and then Jack asked me to do it a second time, gave me some direction. I did it a second time. That was it. I was in and out of there in like 5 minutes. And this was about 2:00 on a Saturday afternoon. My agent called me about an hour later and she said, "You're on hold." And I said, "Oh, thank you for ruining my day." Because 9 times out of 10, when you're put on hold, it goes to the other guy, you know? And then about 10:30 that night, she called me and she said, "You're booked." And the response was like, "You just won the lottery." I mean, that's how I felt.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But at this point, I had never seen an episode of From. So I immediately signed up for Paramount Plus, which is the streaming service in Canada where it shows. And the next day, I managed to get a couple of episodes under my belt while I was packing, because Monday morning I was on a flight to Halifax. And then when I got to Halifax, I managed to see 2 more episodes. So I saw the pilot and the end of episode 1 of season 1, and then the beginning of season 2 and the finale of season 2. That's all I had seen when we shot the finale of season 3.
That's crazy.
It was a bit of
congratulations. That's such a great role and such a great story. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it just makes me laugh, you know. What are the chances of all of that, you know?
It's the right person at the right time. And like, I'm hoping that this is the season that things explode, you know, and I can see you just being out in the, you know, conventions and just being overwhelmed, you know, like this show, I've said it from the first second I started watching it, and I felt like I was the only person watching it. And I mean, I think we've had this conversation before, but like it just has everything that you need, you know, especially if you like a puzzle show. This is the show for that, you know. And
I have to say, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Mike Merkin, whatever. I'm screwing it up. He said, nah, we won the lottery with Doug, which I completely agree. Like, you're so perfect. Like, showing up in that yellow Zooch suit, which I'd love to know the history behind that. And we've talked about it. And you're filthy.
Yeah.
You're
But you mean
filthy.
personally. Yeah. Oh, I've
No, no.
always been told that.
Yeah.
I think you cleaned up really nice, Doug.
Yeah. Thanks for showering.
All
Yeah.
right. So here's the story about the suit, because of course I was cast so last minute that Sunday morning I got up and there was already an email from the costume department saying, can you please send us some measurements? Because we got to build this suit like yesterday. And
Yeah.
as luck would have it, just a few months before, I had ordered my first made to measure suit. So I had a list of like every possible measurement you could want. And I just wrote them back and said, boy, do I have measurements. So I sent them everything.
Yeah.
I arrived on Monday, and I think it was Monday afternoon. I had a costume fitting, and they had had enough time to build it, but not to sew it together yet. So it was basically all the pieces were just kind of pinned together. And I have to tell you, it is made from the most gorgeous canary yellow Irish linen. It's just beautiful material. And they put it on me, and I went, whoa, whoa, look at me. This is awesome. Well, the next time I saw it, they had finished it and they'd broken it down, and it looked like somebody had run a truck over it. And I was like, oh my God, what have you done to this gorgeous material? But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was as much last minute as anything, you know.
Is there just one suit? I think I've asked you that question before.
I think there might be a second one, but I'm not 100%
has to
sure. The one that I wore for episode 1, as far as I know, is the same one that I wore last year.
Yeah. I have to pass some messages on because we have a pretty lively chat group right now. So let's see. Witches Brew with Dana Marie. She says, hey, Doug. Yo. Yep. Vic says, hi, Doug.
Hi, Vic. Say hi back,
see.
but I couldn't type and talk at the same time.
I know that I'm trying. So Summer Girl, it's all ladies, FYI. Not to take away from Sophia, that actress is so talented, but I really wish to see more of Doug's character. Yeah, I'm loving the Man in Yellow. I think I'm going to sketch the Man in Yellow at some time this week. I'm on school vacation, so I should have a minute. Oh, Lisa, we should have lunch. And we love our Mr. Doug. I have to say, like, you and I, like, just that 3-hour conversation, we've talked a couple of times, you know, in podcast. I feel like we're friends, you know, like you're my long distance friend or something like that. My pen pal.
Well, you know, it's funny. I've been getting lots of love from people for being so responsive to the fan base. But one of the reasons is because that's kind of the vibe with all of the groups. You know, that's been my experience. And you have to understand that I lead an extremely solitary lifestyle. I think most of the people who are fans of the series would be very surprised to know what my day-to-day life is like. So this is really kind of filling a void in my life anyway. You know, it's really great to have a chance to talk to people about stuff that we mutually love, because I love this series. I just love it. You know,
and it's great. You know, when, I mean, you're in it, so you're seeing how the sausage is made, and it's not always what we think it is. I've seen some really ugly sausage, but I too live like a solitary life. Like, I'm on vacation this week and I'm thinking, I'm going to write a book, you know, and you know that is solitary work. But I'm like, I think I can bang out a novella this week. And that's what I think my week's going to look like.
Well, and my advice to you would be follow through on that urge. Absolutely.
Oh, I'm gonna. I started writing it Friday. You know, I'm a high school teacher and I just teach seniors, and this was their very last Friday before a vacation. And so I was like, we're just watching movies, and I just sat there and started writing. But let's see.
I'll be right back. I realized I forgot to put my lighting on. So
you look fine. Yeah.
I know. I thought he looked fine too.
Oh, look, now there's light.
Make things
there we go.
Yeah, that's better.
Oh wow, that's perfect. I'm sitting here with I'm backlit. So let's see. Vic wants to know if you've watched the episode yet, which I think you have. Did you watch it tonight? today?
It's still, believe it or not, it's still not available in Canada for some reason. I don't
Oh
know
my
why.
goodness.
Last year, the season came out on the same day in both countries, but this year we have to wait until midnight tonight before we get it, which is the same as Europe and other parts of the world.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
all.
Well, it's really
You
good.
look
You should
good.
watch it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Well, I
yeah.
saw it. I joined a watch party last night, so I got to see it, but
Oh,
not,
good.
Oh,
not on
Good.
the big screen TV. So tonight at 12:01, I'll be watching it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it 3 times today. That's my process. But let's see. Vic also says, I was so excited when I saw Doug on the screen. He did such a great job. Didn't even see him as Doug. Scarlet Fever 88. I love this Scarlet Fever. I love that. Great episode. So much fun watching it. Breath to breath, beat to beat. What a thrilling start up to the season. Hail Doug.
Thank you.
Forget about
Scarlett.
Caesar, right? The premiere kept us up on the edge of our seat the whole time. That's Witch's Brew with Dana Marie, and she's going on her 4th watch.
Wow.
It's like I have my process because, like, if you follow me on Instagram, I will post, what my notes look like, and I have how many pages? 2, 4, 7 pages. Plus, I've started 2 lists.
Right.
That I, one of them is believes we're going to get out of here, doesn't believe. And right now I've got Boyd, Kenny, and Christy. They don't think they're getting out of this place. And I'm really afraid for Kenny for some reason. Something came over me. And I was just like, I'm afraid Kenny's going to buy it. Like, I'm convinced that Mrs. Liu will come back in some form. And I think that will be his downfall. Because, I mean, what better way to get him? He was close with his mom. But then I've started the other list, do this, and then you can go home. And we know, like, Sarah just had to kill, what's his name? And I can't think of his name right now. The little boy. I know his name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Kill him and you can go home, right? Everyone goes home. And then Elgin, do this and everyone can go home. And then he loses his eye because of it, and Sarah became an outcast because of it.
Yeah.
So they, end up isolated. Although Christy seemed to be giving him a way back, kind of like, we are all going through this.
Yeah, and I think that probably had something to do with the experience with Sarah.
Yeah.
I've said this in other interviews. I think Sarah is one of the most generally misunderstood characters in the series because a lot of people just see her as flat out evil. And I think it's so much more complicated than that. I mean, she and Elgin, and this I think got mentioned in season 3, if memory serves me right. Just that the 2 of them are people that are geared to help other people. So they were like perfect pigeons for the entities wanting to mess with people and get them to do what they want, because
That's a great analogy.
Both of them, their first urge is to help. And that was taken advantage of in both cases. And both of them were conflicted with Elgin wasn't quite as conflicted because he was convinced that what he was doing was going to work.
Right.
Sarah was tied in knots about that. I mean, remember 3, that whole discussion I guess it was season 1, with Christy, when she spent the night in the infirmary about, if you had to do something really bad and it would save everybody, do you think that would be worth doing? So that kind of, in Sarah's mind, that gave her license to do it. But like right up until the time that she went to do it, you could tell it was tearing her apart. And she genuinely loved Ethan. She didn't want to do this, and Kenny's dad and stuff, but that's what they made her do. And I mean, when you see someone who's writhing in agony and her skin literally crawling from what the entities are doing to them, I mean, who of us would be able to withstand that kind of pressure?
I know. And I thought that when we met her, I think the rumor was that she had left an abusive relationship, and that's why her brother had to go get her. So she did seem like she was broken and weak to begin with, and easy pickings, whereas, how hard could it be to kill Ethan? And she screwed it up.
And yes, and lost her brother in the process. But
Yeah.
I found it really interesting last year when she made the decision to finish what Boyd started with Elgin, because a lot of people just saw that as, oh, that's Sarah being a psycho. And I thought, no, again, you've completely missed the boat. Here's a woman who, she went through what she went through in season 1, and then very slowly and painfully clawed her way back into respectability with the group and a certain measured acceptance from everybody else. And then when she realized that Boyd was about to cross that Rubicon by further torturing this kid, she sacrifices herself to save Boyd.
Right. No, I agree.
That was a hugely magnanimous move on her part, because she knew all too well what it was going to cost her, and she rationalized it by saying, well, I'm screwed already anyway. So, but it was so much more nuanced than that. You know?
Oh God.
So
damn it, the writing.
Kind of, but piggybacking off of that, what do you think is the psyche of the Yellow Man? Like, where do you think how does he see himself? What is, I think that he's probably the mastermind, the big trickster that's been throughout history, tricking all these people, but playing this role, how do you feel? What do you feel about the character? What do you think he is? He's how he views himself?
Oh, well, really, I got asked that question last year after the season 3 finale. And I said, when the whole thing happened so fast, I didn't have any time to prepare. The only script I had seen was the one for that episode. I knew nothing about the rest of season 3 and precious little about the rest of the series. And so I was really kind of left to my own devices in terms of how to approach this character. Now, of course, when you've auditioned for something and they hire you, you sort of figure, okay, well, I guess I basically want to do what they had me do in the audition. They seem to like it. But when I was standing up there at the top of the hill and the cameras were rolling, what was going through my head was, just from what I had read in that last episode and, the way I was dressed and all that, and the makeup and everything, I looked and I thought, okay, whoever this being is, whatever he is, the only thing that I can really infer about him with any confidence is he's suffered a tremendous amount of damage. Yeah. And that's what I went with. That was basically it,
I mean, how old do you think that entity is?
No idea. No idea at all.
I kind of think that he's at the beginning of time. Like before you showed up tonight here in the podcast, Lisa and I were speaking about, how far back does this actually go? Is this iteration, from the settlers all the way to current time, is this the first time, or had this been done with other peoples? And I kind of think that Yellow Man is one of those things that's of the earth and of energy that is perpetual.
Yeah, and he may very well be, but I have no information on that at all. In fact, after last season, I got in touch with John Griffin and I said, look, anything you can tell me about this guy would be really helpful, just in terms of knowing what to do with the character, And he was very reticent about that. He didn't want to get into it. I didn't care about what was going to happen in the future. That didn't matter to me. I was just trying to get, flesh the guy out to some degree. So to kind of sum up understanding of how to play him, because
Right.
when you are left to your own devices, on the one hand, it's kind of freeing because do what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a director there to steer you if they don't like what you're coming up with. But other than that, you're kind of free to make your own choices. The downside to that is, you start to second guess yourself and you start wondering, is this in line with what they intend with the character? So that's a tricky balance to find. And what helps a lot, of course, is the writing, because take that first scene, the season 3 finale. I mean, you read that scene and it's like, okay, I'd have to be an idiot not to know what's happening here. It's right there on the page. But the other thing that did occur to me, and this was completely intuitive just from reading that first scene, was this guy's got a sense of humor. There's of sardonic fun in everything he does. And so that's
especially because his favorite part is watching people tear each other apart. So, and I'm guessing that's literal. Like, I don't know. I don't think that he means, well, and I could be wrong, but I don't think he means, oh, they're just gonna like emotionally torture each other. And no, I
It's
think
not
that they're
high
going
school,
to
Lisa.
tear each other apart.
It could be both things.
Yeah.
Maybe too. Who knows?
I mean, well, look at Boyd. He's in pretty bad shape right now.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah.
Poor Boyd. Well, but one of the things that, and this got reiterated, of course, in the first episode, that one of the concerns is that, everything's on his shoulders. And of course, it's going to weigh him down. But I think because everything is on his shoulders, and because, let's face it, if Boyd goes down, there's going to be a whole lot of other bowling pins that go with him, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why the entities have focused on him so much, tried so hard to break him. I mean, they've tried to break lots of people, but let's face it, they've gone after Boyd more than anybody. And I think it's because, if we get Boyd, it's 2 for 1 day, because there's going to be a lot of collateral damage if we succeed. So, and Boyd is clearly sensing all of that too. So,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, he's the big bowling pin, the one that's the hardest to get and the one that's the most satisfactory, or gives you the most satisfaction. Like, because it to me, he just seems like he has the farthest to fall, because he's Mr. Fish and Loaves. He can make anything work. And even in his despair in this episode, where he is counting bullets, he is still making it work, because that's his solution. And really, he thinks that's the best thing that can be offered to them.
And he's quite rational about it too. It's not like, oh, we're all going to die or anything like that. It's a policy decision,
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that one of the reasons, one of the factors that plays into the pressure that he feels on himself is, as you say, he is Mr. Fish and Loaves. This is a guy who has defined himself through his entire military career as a problem solver, as the guy that gets things done, and to take that away from him completely would be to destroy his identity, I think.
Yeah. And you know what I thought was pretty quietly magnificent in that exchange was the way that Ricky came in with the 47. Like, that whole transition, Ricky got it, or Kenny gets it.
Yeah.
But the way, as an actor, the way that he dropped that line, I just thought it was so heavy. And if I was going to cry, I would have cried at that. Like,
and again, the scene is so brilliantly structured, because when does he come up with that line? When he realizes that Boyd isn't despairing, that Boyd isn't about to, pull a Jonestown on the place.
Yeah.
The minute that penny drops, that's when we get his answer,
Yeah.
And that's just brilliant writing, I think.
It really, really was. Like, it's hard. It's real. Like, I have not once looked at this show and thought, man, that actor sucks. Like, that actor's miscast, that actor, needs a little more time in class or something. Not once. Like, last year, when Alex and I were doing the press junket, which we did not get invited to this year, which I have no idea why. But when we were doing the press junket, we had Harold, and we had Liz, and we asked them both about those emotional scenes, like because we had watched the first episode so we could be prepared for the junket. And the way, like, the last person you want to see breaking apart is Donna. Like, as much as Boyd is Mr. Fish and Loaves, Donna is the iron ship. She is the iron warship. Nothing falls apart. Everyone is taken care of. We are safe, and I will make sure it happens. And when the two of them were like yelling at each other, and then she's crying, like it was a whole little tag back and forth on Instagram, about that. We just were like, you guys are so wonderful. And they both said such complimentary things about one another, about those scenes, that it was kind of fun after the fact, but it's not just that. Like, watching Hannah Cherami, like, she's a newer actress, and watching her just kind of come into this character, like when she's interacting with Yellow Man, like, she looks terrified, horrified,
That scream she did at the end of season 3 was blood curdling. I mean, and it just came from right down here, like, there was nothing fake about that stuff,
Yeah. And, I, of course, like, working in Atlanta, which I don't live there anymore, in the film business, wanting everything to be filmed there. And, watching this show and recognizing two actors. I was like, where did these people come from? And learning that they were all Canadian, and some were very local, like Bob Mann lives right there in Halifax, right?
He's a very good actor.
Unbelievable. I love him. Now I see him in everything. And I think it's one of the more beautiful things that the show has done, is to expose all of us to these actors that have been working on their craft and doing these things that are wonderful, and then seeing them in this ensemble cast. And it's been amazing. Like, I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
It's another of my favorite things about the series, is just the quality of the stable of actors in this thing. I mean, right from the get-go, it was just like, oh yeah, these guys aren't fooling around,
Yeah. I mean, they got the best of the best, Kid actors can be really tricky, and Simon's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing, but yeah, like, I don't know. I'm in love with the show. Yeah. That's all I can say.
I think what I like. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead, Lisa, please.
No, all I was going to say is that I think with the introduction of the Yellow Man, that it kind of like changed the dynamic a little bit, which I think is great, because it feels like we're shifting. Like, I don't know. It seems like it gives the show a little bit of a shift, and even Sophia being able to touch the talisman, and Sophia who is the Yellow Man, being inside on the other side of the talisman, you just really have this whole, like, it's just bringing this character in at this point, I think, is brilliant. And I think it's there's so many things that I don't know. I just think it's a little bit of a shift. Like, it's kind of, how can Yellow Man be behind the talisman, and even like holding it and saying, oh, this protects you, or whatever, it's like crazy.
Well, you just reminded me, like, when Mrs. Lou was ripped apart, right? They were in the barn, They had a talisman hanging. And the thing was, they couldn't get out of the barn because the talisman was keeping them in. So it must be the same thing. She
Once you're
can't
on the
get
other
out
side
of
of
the
it.
hospital because the talisman is hanging there. And it was interesting to, you're so right, to see her touch that. Because we don't know if the other monsters touched it at all, but to see her touch that, you would think that, sparks would fly or she would catch on fire. And maybe she wondered, but she was just like, this silly little old rock's going to
Yeah.
protect you from
Well,
the
I think the yellow
monsters.
man has superpowers, right? The yellow
Yeah.
man probably is like the upper echelon of whatever these demons or monsters are. So, no, I think you did a great job, Doug, and I'm so excited to see what happens for the rest of this season. It's a really great shift in the story, and it just really adds something.
Well, I will just say this. I don't think anybody is going to be disappointed with season 4. And if they are, they're not paying attention.
Yeah. Do you want to stay with us while we talk about other parts of this? Because we were halfway through the episode. Or do you have a
No,
9:00?
I don't have to be anywhere till 10, actually. So I'm good.
Oh, okay. So you're listen, fancy free.
Pretty much.
So I'm trying to find my list of where we were going. We were talking about, oh, my fingers.
I think we were talking about Acosta.
Oh, yeah, how Acosta doesn't fit. And I was wondering if perhaps she should have been killed the night that they got, that she arrived, because she doesn't buy what this place is selling. Like, she's just, despite what she sees, like, she's not buying it. And the only thing that's happened to her is that she is there. Like, she managed to shoot her way up to Colony House and survive Donna doing it. And then maybe she was supposed to die on arrival and didn't, and doesn't have a part in this play. Like, I don't think that it means that she's untouchable and, that, she can't be killed. She's not bulletproof, although she seems it the way she fires her gun all the time. But I'm just wondering if the fact that she didn't die protects her in some way.
I see the whole Acosta thing a little bit differently, because we've had opportunity throughout the series to see people's reactions to being there, and there's quite a spectrum of reaction, everything from shock and disbelief to relatively quick acceptance and everything in between, and Kenny touches on that in that time when he talks to her about, you either bend here or you break, basically, and I think what I see when I look at Acosta is they seem to be making her sort of the more extreme example of someone who hasn't quite clicked in yet to how this place works. They've just made her journey through that longer than anybody else's that we've seen. I mean, God knows what happened with Donna and all the rest of them when they showed up, because of course it happened before the beginning of the series. But she's the first person to come in who has been this resistant for this long. I don't know how long that's going to go on, but my suspicion is that at some point, the penny is finally going to have to drop and she's going to figure out, okay, I guess I have to go along to get along, or whatever,
Yeah.
Well, when she's in the diner and she had like one moment in this episode where I think it, was a little freak out moment. She's behind the counter in the diner and the jukebox starts playing, and it's like she looked freaked out.
What was the meaning of that song? Because that song is basically like a romantic breakup song,
Well,
like
it's by Tony Teflon sort of put this together, and I think he's onto something. It's by Stephen Sondheim, and Stephen Sondheim wrote Into the Woods, which is a musical based on a bunch of fairy stories, basically.
Oh.
I love that. I love Into the Woods.
So do you think this is like the Brothers Grimm, like it would be in their book?
I think that, there's all kinds of theories about what is this world. I mean, there's the government experiment theory, which just drives me batshit. And there's, the people who think they're all in a coma or that it's a computer game or all this kind of stuff. And I look at it and I go, we're told in the very first episode what this place is. When Ethan's reading from the Flight of the Chromonocle, it's all there. This is a quest. It's a hero's journey. There's going to be monsters and we have to save people and that's how we get home and all that stuff. It's spelled right out at the beginning. And I think this thing just is what it is. It's not anything they're hiding from us. They've told us from the beginning what this journey is.
Yeah.
At least that's how it always seemed to me, just watching the first 3 seasons of it. It's like crystal clear. You don't need another layer on top of that, because I'll tell you, if you do that, then you get what happened to the series Dallas. Remember that?
Oh my God. When she wakes up and she realizes her sobriety was a dream.
And it's like that almost created a riot. I mean, people were furious. And I thought, I didn't think the series was going to last after that. You can't do that to people. You just do it. It's literary malpractice as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed. And I think that this has just been trial and error ever since serial television came along. Like Lost was was such a breakout show, and unlike anything else that we had seen, that other shows stepped in and tried to do what they didn't. And I'm really damn glad that they screwed it up so that we get this masterpiece in answer to that. It's perfect.
And I don't know how accurate this is, but I remember reading somewhere that what happened to Lost was, they didn't expect it to go on for as long as they did. They probably had the first 5 seasons mapped out, because generally that's what happens when you're pitching a series. You better be able to, in that meeting, you better be able to tell them where you expect to be by the end of season 5, or they're not going to pick up your project,
Yeah.
I think when it went on beyond that, they just weren't prepared story-wise to handle that, and so they started improvising. And that's my sense of it.
100%. No, I agree 100%.
But there was the couple early on that they buried alive, or they thought they were dead, but they weren't dead, or something like that. And I'm like, that never made sense to me. It was like almost like a standalone episode. I don't know. I've thought about going back to rewatch it, but I don't know if I can do that to myself.
Yeah.
I didn't come into Lost until way into it. I might have been around season 5 before I started watching it. So I only got the latter part of it. And I spent the first season or so that I was watching it just playing catch up, because I had no idea what the hell was going on. So anything before that, I don't. And in fact, it's been so long now that the details are really, really fuzzy. I would have to go back and watch it over again.
Yeah. I'm with you, Doug. I don't remember people being buried alive. But can I bring up one thing that I want to make sure that we get to talk about this, because when I talk about there being like this shift in the series this season, when Julie and Ethan and Tabitha are, they don't know where Jim is, right? And they're in the house. It was like a poltergeist was in the kitchen. Like, what the hell was that? Like,
oh yeah,
that's a whole that's paranormal shit. Like that hasn't happened before. And so
that just freaked me out.
I don't know.
That scared me more than other stuff.
I think people looking like human beings and turning into monsters and eating people is pretty paranormal to begin with. I mean,
it is, but it's more monster related. I mean, this was nothing like that's happened before on the show. So it was kind of like, was it the Yellow Man? Who did it? Like, I don't know.
And your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea what that was all about.
It just reminded me of like all those, possession movies that we've seen, like just stuff like that. And it didn't fit. I don't know if I'm alone in thinking that. It just didn't fit. And now I've got to, like, I'm excited, and I don't know if I can wait to find out how that is fit. That's like, you know, the glass slipper on every other lady's shoe. I'm waiting for Cinderella now.
Okay. Yeah. 2 responses to that. The first one is, you know how these guys work. You know that question's going to get answered. And generally, when things like this happen that are that inexplicable, you don't have to wait very long before you get an answer. I honestly don't know what the answer is to that, but I have a feeling we probably won't have to wait very long before we find out.
Yeah, I'm excited for more information about that. But since now we dipped over there, our last topic is Tabitha. And, you know, it's kind of weird. I don't know if it was just me, but it seemed like she was coming from a really great spa day when she comes back into town, and, you know, she sees Ethan and Julie and they seem a little bit ramped up, and her energy was not there. You know, her energy. Go ahead.
The way she appeared to me was she just looked shell-shocked to me, you know?
All right. That's a better way.
Yeah, I agree.
Like her energy wasn't there, but I think it was because she was shell-shocked. I mean, that was some extreme information download.
Exactly.
You know?
And then Jade is there trying to, we got to talk about this. Yeah, no, I agree with Doug. I think she's shell-shocked.
Yeah. It just, she didn't seem worried enough about Jim. You know, I know she had just seen him, but lost track of him.
I don't know.
Yellow Man knows where he is, but
like just the way she was with the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, of course she was trying to reassure them, but I didn't get the impression that she was not concerned. I thought she was soft selling it for the sake of the kids, you know?
Oh, maybe. It just, to me, you're right. She was shell shocked. That makes sense.
And then she made the comment that he either made it to the
house
to the
or
RV. Yeah, I mean, she was like, she was confident that he had ended up somewhere that was safe, because it's not the first time that he hasn't been home before dark, right?
Right. Yeah. But
or
before,
he was projecting confidence, you know, maybe.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Oh, you guys are so much better than me, and I've been through it. Like, I'm just like, yeah. I kind of thought she was high. I mean, and I'm not even good at, like, you know, I teach high school. A lot of the kids are high, and I don't even know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even know. But to me, it was like she had just gotten out of this, like, really good bath.
No, I didn't get that impression. I think that she was in a state of shock.
Yeah,
really
I think you're right.
I just remember.
Go ahead.
The way she came out of that scene with Jade at the end of season 3.
Yeah.
That state that she was in. That's what I saw when she came back home. That's the person I saw. That's what I.
You're right.
You know, it seemed that way.
I'm so wrong, but you're right. Sometimes, like, I don't know what I'm thinking when I'm watching stuff, but I mean, I don't know. I know Jim has gotten out of some scrapes. It's just, he hasn't been in the show that much since, like, season 2. It was like a nodding acquaintance, you know, like season 3 was a little bit more, but to have him be killed off, I gotta believe that he'll be back. Like, I don't know. You would know more than me if you saw all the scripts or whatever, but I kind of think that he'll be back in some capacity, whether it's a flashback or another, you know, like another attempt on his life, like Julie trying to save him again. Like, I don't know if Julie is just going to keep trying this now that she knows how to story walk.
Well, I can't say anything about this season, but when we shot the season finale last year, it was kind of ironic because it was my very first day on set, and everybody was all moping around because this was going to be Jim's last day, Ian's last day, kind of thing.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? This is From. He'll be back. Yeah.
At least maybe a past version of him will story walk into this reality. Who knows, right?
Well,
anything can happen.
Came back and Tom came back, and
But weren't those hallucinations though? Were they really there?
That's an open question. I mean, and that's one of the things I love about the series is like, who knows? I mean, you could argue Kotri is just Boyd's conscience talking to himself,
Yeah.
Who knows? But I'm just saying that the precedent has been established,
Yeah, it could be anything.
I mean, I was just making a joke when I said that at the time, but death doesn't seem to be terribly final in this series.
No, it doesn't.
No. And that's why, like, I messaged Liz Moy, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago, and I was like, it just occurred to me that you can die on this show and still show up in another way later on. So I'm like, I am looking forward to seeing you back on the show. Of course she can't tell me anything.
I had the exact same reaction because, of course, they killed her off before I got there. So I thought I'm never going to get to meet her,
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier about what a great ensemble it is. If I have one regret about this job so far, it's that I've had so little opportunity to meet with these guys.
Yeah.
I've met the few that I've worked with, and also, sometimes you're on set and there are people there shooting a different scene, so you get to say hello, but like it's like ships in the night kind of thing, Like I finally got to meet Harold, but it was literally, hi, really nice to meet you. Well, I got to get in the RV and head back to town. See you later, and that was it.
Yeah,
and, I wasn't really prepared for that. I sort of thought when I got this gig and then season 4 was happening, I thought, oh, this is great. Like there'll probably be a table read and I'll get to meet everybody. It's like, no.
It
doesn't work that way at all.
I could see that with being your first episode there, but I would think that, I mean, you must have had a table read for the first episode this season, right? What?
That's so odd. Yeah.
That's really odd.
And it just principals, the regulars probably did, but guys like me, we're not part of that kind of thing,
Yeah, no, and I know what you mean. And I was just, when you were talking about, you're not like running into each other. I was working on set one day on The Walking Dead. They had 3 things going on in the same area. They had 3 camera setups in the same area. They had one that was packing up, one that they were shooting, and one they were setting up. So basically, they were just going from one to the next to the next. And I had never, like all my time on set, never saw anything like that, ever.
That's kind of like the TV version of Summer Stock.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
The whole sort of not meeting people. I actually talked to Cliff Saunders about that because Liz and Cliff came over for dinner last year in the spring, and this topic came up about how people sort of have this impression that everybody's there at a group, and he said in practice it doesn't work that way at all. You can go weeks when you're in several episodes, but you only see like 2 or 3 other members of the cast.
Yeah, and though. It could have just been, a red herring type thing, but there were a couple of pictures posted while you guys were filming this season where there were like all the cast chairs were set out. And I'm like, are they really doing some big ensemble stuff? Or is that just, throw them off the scent? Because that would be a really good trick. Put all the cast chairs up.
It may just have been a novel way of like putting the names of all the principals up there for people to look at. You know, it might have been something as simple as that.
Could have been, yeah.
Because
I don't
that's
know.
a lot
It
easier
looked
to do than get all of them there in the same place at the same time to Halifax. You know, like
yeah.
it would be a lot more expensive to have actual bodies in those chairs than just to
Yeah.
take a picture of the chairs and it's like, here's who you're going to see, you know?
I don't know. It looked like it had been lived in. Like they weren't, I mean, they were in like the semicircle, like they try to do in a room, but
Yeah.
they were not perfect. Like they had just been set up.
Well, yeah. And those
I know
chairs,
you can't tell me.
I don't know. I've never seen the picture. This is just pure conjecture on my part. But if they use like the actual cast chairs, then those would look lived in because they are, you know.
Oh, okay. I want to put this up, this comment up by Scarlet Fever. The voices that talked to Sarah and got her to take out Jade's friend, Toby. That scene looked a lot like how Sophia, Man in Yellow, was over the pastor. I thought the exact same thing. It was like the same bed, you know, same place in the clinic. And she takes, they both got taken out there, you know, like, and maybe Toby was also like, the pastor was the vehicle to get the Man in Yellow or Sophia in the town, right? Like that was the cover story. Toby was the sober one, or one that was sober enough to drive the car because Jade had to get there, but there was no use for him. In Acosta, for whatever reason, I think it's the same type of character, but yet she didn't die.
Yes.
What say you?
Yes.
Well, I come back to what I said earlier. It's like one of the things I see with Costa is this is the first time we've seen a character that has taken this long before the penny drops, you know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of an interesting journey. It's also interesting to see the response to it because everybody in the fandom is like, God, I hate that woman, you know? And their source of frustration is always the same. It's because like she just doesn't get it. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, this is a gal who just came out of the police academy, right?
Yeah.
And this is one of my complaints about police academies in general. What they instill in the cadets is an incredibly blinkered way of looking at things, you know, and I'll give you an example of what I mean. Well, this is kind of a crazy story, but I'll try and give you the really short version. Back about 20, how many years ago was it? 1998, 28 years ago. My God. I was working at the Shaw Festival. It was my 4th season there. And I came home one night from it was the day off. I'd gone into St. Catharines to see a movie, and I got home and I was about to go up to my apartment, which was up on the 2nd floor of this house. My landlords lived on the main floor. And just about to go up the stairs, and I found this note on the steps that said that a Constable Harrison of the Niagara Police had been to see me. And I thought, what do the cops want? You know, long story short, it took me a day before I finally got this cop on the phone. He said, yes, some neighbors of yours have accused you of stealing their son's bicycle. I said, boy, have you got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I have a bicycle already. I have a very nice bicycle. It's a very expensive custom-built Marinoni. I really don't need another one, especially some 10-year-old's kid. So I'm sorry, but somebody's got their wires crossed. And the cop says, well, they say they have an eyewitness. And I said, well, their eyewitness is mistaken. And he said, look, I'm not saying you took the bike. I'm not saying you didn't. But if they get the bike back, they're willing to drop the whole thing, no questions asked. I said, well, I'd love to help you, but if I didn't take the bike in the first place, I can't very well give it back to them now, can I? He said, okay, well, I'm going to have to call them and see what they want to do, but if they want to press charges, I'm going to have to come and arrest you for theft. And I said, I'll be here.
Yeah.
So I call my stage manager. I said, Carolyn, you're not going to believe this. The cops are going to come and arrest me. They think I stole some kid's bike. And she said, you? I said, I know. Call me crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
Why the hell do they think that? I said, I have absolutely no idea. Oh, shit. She said, what? I said, I just figured out what this is. The week before, I had a friend visiting from Wales. And the Shaw Festival is in the middle of wine country in the Niagara region, and so it's one of the popular things to do there is to do wine tours of some of the wineries. So this gal wanted to do this, so we went into town one day and we rented a bike for her, and the two of us biked out to this winery. We did the tour, then we got back to my place, and we've got this friggin' rental bike that we have to get back to the shop. And she's tired. We've been biking all day, and it's getting late in the afternoon. I got to make dinner because I got a show that night. And she doesn't want to go all the way downtown and then have to walk 2 miles back to my place. I said, don't worry about it. I'll ride in on my bike and I'll just steer the other bike with my other hand. I can do that. So I go riding up the street with the 2 bikes. And I said, obviously, these people saw me with the 2 bikes going up the street. They find their kid's bike gone. They put 2 and 2 together. They get 5. I'll explain it to the cop when he calls back. So the cop calls back a few minutes later and he says, well, they want to press charges.
Oh my goodness.
He says, I'm coming to get you. And I said, okay, I'll be here. So I called Caroline back and I say, I'm going to jail. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll bail you out in the morning. I said, I guess you better take a book, eh? So anyway, the cop shows up. And this is the thing. Like, I'm trying to tell the cop on the phone, what's going on. And he's not listening to a word I've got to say. It's like I said to him when he called back, said they want to press charges. I said, look, I can explain this whole thing over the phone. He said, well, I'm almost at your place. So why don't we just have their conversation at the foot of the driveway? And I thought, yeah, I can see exactly how that conversation's going to go.
Yeah.
So he shows up a few minutes later and I go down to the foot of the driveway and I said, so this is it, eh? You're just going to slap the cuffs on me, throw me in the back of the cruiser and haul me off to prison. You're not going to listen to a word I have to say, are you? And he said, no, I'll hear your side of the story. So I tell him about taking these 2 bikes back. And he says, when was this? And I said, about 3:00 on Friday afternoon. And he says, oh, no. Their bike was stolen on Sunday afternoon. I said, oh, really? What time on Sunday afternoon? He said, about 3:00, actually. And I said, well, I happen to have a really good alibi for 3:00 on Sunday afternoon. He says, do you have a lot of witnesses for this alibi? I said, yeah, about 850 of them. I was doing a matinee at the Shaw Festival. And he says, do you have anybody who can back this up for you? I said, how many names do you want? There's like 50 people backstage. I said, here, call my stage manager because at least I know she's still awake. Because by this time it's like 12:30 in the morning and all the neighbors are out on their front lawn. And, another cruiser pulls up and they take like 45 minutes to finally call my stage manager who confirms that, yes, I was at the theater doing a show. So clearly it wasn't me. So he gets off the phone and he comes to me and he says, well, it doesn't seem very likely that we're going to get a conviction here.
No,
that was your first clue. I said, did you not stop to think about this rationally for like 5 seconds? What is a 40-year-old man going to want with some 10-year-old kid's bike? Do I look like I'm working on a circus act? Secondly, why would I steal it from them in broad daylight while they're home? And then you tell me if they get the bike back, they're going to drop the whole thing, no questions asked. Like I'm going to say no to this?
Yeah.
He said, I said, does this make any sense to you at all? And he said, well, I've been a cop for about 16 years. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that people do a lot of things that don't make much sense. I said, well, if you've been a cop for 16 years, there's something else you should have learned by now. And that is that eyewitnesses are notoriously unreliable. The witness was these people's 12-year-old daughter. And he says to me, well, she was a very credible witness. I said, well, she got a couple of facts wrong, didn't she? And he finally went away, but the whole thing really kind of threw me because I thought, had it not been for the fact that I was able to categorically prove that I was not the guy, I would have spent a night in jail for something that I had absolutely nothing to do with. And the only reason that happened is because of the way these cops are trained. They're trained not to listen to any of the excuses that an accused is giving them because you may provide that person with an opening, a way to sort of weasel out of the thing. So that's a very effective tactic if you're dealing with a guilty person. It's completely ineffective when you're dealing with an innocent one, And that's the thing I took away from this. It's like, look at the way we train our cops. We give them such a blinkered black and white view of the world. Of course, Acosta has having trouble making sense of this place because it has nothing to do with her background at all. She has probably been better trained to not believe what's going on here than anybody else, with the possible exception of Boyd. But of course, Boyd's been there plenty long enough to know what's what. So
Yeah.
that's a very long-winded way of answering your question, but I thought you'd like the story. So there you go.
It makes sense.
story
Though.
is
It was a good
wonderful.
story.
Um,
Sorry that happened to you, but it was a good story.
Oh, I laughed about it. In fact, we used to do these late night cabarets in the one of the theaters. The George Theater had a bar in the bottom, and on Saturday nights we would have these things called snags. Saturday nights at the George, and people would get up and sing songs and do stand up and do skits, play music, whatever. And so we wrote a little skit about that we did that very Friday night in the.
Oh, that's so cool! I love that. That is awesome.
Yeah, it was one of the craziest things that has ever happened to me. I will never forget that.
your life could have been ruined by a
Well,
10-year-old.
I not ruined, but it certainly could have caused a lot of grief. And I mean, I could have easily sued these people. I could have sued them for both slander and libel. They actually sent a letter to the artistic director of the theater about, they didn't name me in person, but they sent a letter complaining about dangerous cyclists living in the area of town where I lived. And unfortunately, I didn't find out about this letter until the artistic director had already thrown it away, because when he gets anything like that in the mail, he just, tosses it in the bin. So I never, I said, oh man, I could have sued them for libel. Oh. Yeah.
That is crazy and petty.
Oh, these people were nut bars. I mean, this is a much longer and more involved story than I'm telling right now. It literally went on for the next 10 years, believe it or not.
Oh, that's horrible. I can only imagine, because I've known some nutballs in my life as well. So I can understand. No, you're not a nut. You're a good nutball, not a bad one.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that we have just about nailed it all. Oh, except for one thing I wanted to mention.
What's that?
Did you notice an excessive use of floral in the Matthews house? Everything was floral. Like all the decor was floral.
Well, and that used to be Jan Chen's house, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably where that came from, I would think. I mean,
they don't decorate their houses. Like they get them as is.
Well, here's my feeling about that. Oh, by the way, Scarlet Fever makes a great point here. She says Randall had a hard time believing what this place was. Donna put him on the bus so he could see for himself what this place is. And excellent point,
Yeah.
And I think, again, another example of the various ways that people have had trouble accepting this place and how they get over it. I mean, it happens to Jade at the beginning. He thinks it's all a game, a big, and they literally
he was the biggest one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it happens very quickly in his case, but they had ready evidence, whereas with Acosta, they don't have the opportunity to do that,
Yeah.
Yeah. I seem to remember something about her character, like growing up without family or something like that. And that's how, one thing that led her into the police academy or something. There's something that
would make sense, because again, people like that tend to be extremely self-reliant, and in general, they tend to be resistant to change, because they've learned to be that way to function.
Yeah. I don't know. I keep.
Dana Marie is saying in the chat, and I'm going to steal. Oh, she's talking about Jade. I thought she was talking about me.
Oh, no.
That's it. Jade is the man in yellow. He stole a bike.
I know. Yep. Oh my God, you're right. I mean, that was what he was known for in the first season. When we did our coloring contest, someone drew a picture of Jade stealing Clara's bike, and it is awesome. That because we ran for 2 years, we ran a crayon coloring contest where you had to draw a scene from the show. And it could be any scene, but it had to be from the show.
Right.
And you could only use crayons to do it. And so we've gotten some really good ones, really, really good ones. And we didn't do it last year, and we should have. So we'll have to do it this year.
It's funny at the end of the bike thing. Of course, when I went to work the next day, I went to town. You know, we had a lot of fun with this story at the expense of my crazy neighbors. And the techies were hilarious. They were coming up with all kinds of revenge strategies. One of them said, I know, Doug, we go over to their house at like 4 o'clock in the morning and carve up their lawn for sod. I said, don't do anything to them. If their house gets hit by lightning, they're going to find a way to blame me for it. So no,
Yes,
Oh my goodness.
exactly.
But then the technical director came up with a brilliant idea. He said, no, I know what you do, Doug. Just put a sign in your window, my bedroom window face the street, that says, bike for sale, cheap. Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect for a young boy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's such a great story too.
That really is.
I'm trying to, I'm just looking. I think I hit everything. Lisa, do you have anything?
No, I mean, the only thing that, like I said, I'm going to be really interesting to see how this season pans out. Like so many things, like the season finale and then this episode, the fact that Jade and Tabitha find out they're, basically they've been there for a really long time. And again, has that happened before? Like, and the man in yellow would know, but has any character in this story that keeps getting told over and over again, have they gotten this far in the story? Have they gotten to the point where they realized who they actually were?
Yeah.
That's an
I
interesting
think,
question.
yeah, I just, that's something that I'll be paying attention to, and it'll be interesting to see if we get that answer.
Yeah. When does it fall apart? Like,
Yeah.
now, like, I'm wondering now, because I can't believe it took this long to bring up what happened in the Matthews kitchen, because that was crazy. Like, why that? Why that? Because it just seems like it's not in the same Scare family. as the
And is
other
it
stuff.
Jim? I mean, is it Jim saying he's so mad that he's dead, or who knows? I mean, there's
Or
just
in
it
the
was
phone
just
ringing. Remember when the phone was ringing and
Well, see, when all this stuff happened with the slamming of the doors and stuff, that's sort of what I thought about. I thought it's kind of in the same province of the phone, It's not exactly the same, but
yeah,
whatever it is, I'm sure they will eventually find a way to tell us what that's all about, to give us some context, but I have no idea.
But in the story, isn't it the yellow man who was actually making the phone calls earlier in the storyline?
yeah,
That's
because he
one
called
working
Jim.
hypothesis. Yeah,
Yeah.
I not necessarily, but don't know.
Okay.
I mean, we haven't definitively been told about any of that stuff. A
Yeah,
lot of
true.
things are kind of reasonable suppositions, but we don't really have answers for any of that stuff yet.
Yeah.
That
Interesting.
was the only thing that I wanted to kind of touch on. But this has been so much fun. And Doug, you being on the show was such a treat. Like, I didn't even know I was going to get to meet you today, so I'm very excited. Thank you.
It's a pleasure being here, guys.
I know.
I just love doing this. It's because, like everybody else, I love the show and it's so much fun. There's so much stuff to pick apart that,
I know. Yeah.
I know.
And so much to admire. I mean, as a writer, I just take my hat off to these guys because it is one of the most intricately and brilliantly put together things I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I'm going to do a lot more Doug research. I want to know what you've written. I want to know what you've done. Like I think you did a great job. So
you want to know what I've written and what I've done? I can tell you in terms of the writing pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I'm a playwright, and my writing partner and I have been writing together for 35 years now. We've written a total of 7 plays. The first 6 have all been produced and published. They're all with Concord Theatricals. And I think now we've had something like over 300 productions in 16 countries around the world, and we've been translated into 10.
That's amazing.
And our 5th play, which is a political farce called Something Fishy, won the Playwrights Guild of Canada's Best New Comedy for 2015.
I
So-
saw that.
That's
I saw that.
amazing.
I was pretty happy for you because you guys were all like
Congratulations.
blitzed up and everything.
Oh no, that was from a gala opening of our first play, which is doing a national tour of Poland as we speak. It's been going on for almost 3 years now. And
That's
they had
great.
a big gala opening in Warsaw back in the fall of 2023, to which they invited the two of us.
Nice.
And I had actually been to Warsaw a couple of times before that, because we've had now 5 productions in Poland. And I went over to see the first 2. And the second time I went, I got to go to an opening night. And I've told this story online before, but going to an opening night in Warsaw in the theater is kind of like going to the Oscars. There's like red carpet and paparazzi and everybody's done with nines. And I was like, holy crap, what have I walked into here? It's amazing. And the curtain call, it's like the opera. It goes on for like an hour. You know, they get everybody up on stage and everybody gets an armload of flowers and there's an MC and they interview everybody and the whole audience sticks around. It's insane. So when we got invited to this big opening in Warsaw in 2023, I said to my writing partner, I said, be prepared, Mars. It's going to be a little nuts, you know, and I told her what we were in for. So I knew that they were going to interview us when we got on stage. And so I was thinking about what to write. And one of the things I learned the first couple of times I was there is that a lot of Polish people tend to be very apologetic about their language. You know, oh, it's so difficult to pronounce and to learn. And they kind of look down on it, or at least they have a kind of an inferiority complex about it. And I'd say to them, I couldn't disagree with you more. I mean, yes, it's a difficult language to pronounce, but in order to speak it properly, you have to articulate so carefully. And to me, when I hear people speaking Polish, it's like listening to Castilian Spanish. It's beautiful. It's like music, you know? Yeah. So when I realized, okay, got to do this little speech, I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get it translated into Polish, and I'm going to learn it in Polish, just as a gift to the audience, you know? So I got it translated. I've got a few friends over there now that I chat with on, you know, like Messenger and stuff like that. So I would send them copies and say, is this okay? And they'd say, yeah, you might want to change these 2 words, whatever. And then when I started to learn it, I would tape it and send it to them. And it's like, am I getting the pronunciation right? I worked on this thing for like a month. And I thought, okay, I have to know this thing in my sleep because I get exactly 1 chance to do this. And if I fuck it up, that's it. We're done. So then we go to the show, and Marcia's got her husband with her, and I'm there, and we've got our translator, Ella, with us. And the 4 of us are sitting in the front row. And the show begins, and we proceed to sit through the worst production of this play I've ever seen in my life.
No.
And fortunately, the audience was loving it. The audience was eating it up. But the 4 of us are looking at each other like, what the hell is this? You know? So we get to the intermission, and Marcia turns to me, and she says, are you going up there at the end of the show? I said, I'm not going up there. I'm staying right here. She said, me. And then Ella said, it's okay. When they say your name, you just smile and wave. That's what I do. That's all you need. You know. So, okay, great. Good idea. Thanks. So they get to the end, and they're bringing out everybody, and they're giving them all the flowers, and the MC is introducing everybody. And then he introduces the director after he's done the cast, and then he introduces Ella, and she smiles and waves. And then he introduces the 2 of us, and we smile and wave. And then he goes, no, we want them on stage, don't we? Let's get them on stage. Oh, God. So we go trooping up onto the stage like we're, you know, walking to our execution. And we get up there, and the MC comes up to me, and he says, you have seen several productions of your plays here in Poland now. How does this one measure up? And he sticks the microphone in my face. I thought, you prick. I gave him my most winning smile, and I said, well, when it comes to this production, I can honestly say there's absolutely no comparison.
That was a good way to put it. Yeah.
Okay. And then he asked Marcia, and off he went. And then finally, you know, we're standing there, and they're talking like it just goes on forever, right? And Marcia says to me, you going to do the speech? I said, no, I'm not going to do the speech. She said, why? I said, it's all about how much we enjoyed this lovely production. I'm going to be lying through my teeth. I don't want to do that.
But you're an actor. You can do that.
Well, the thing was, I stood there and I thought about it, and I thought, the whole idea of doing the speech was this was supposed to be a gift for the audience. This wasn't about these guys. It was about them. So I thought, yeah, you're right. I should do the speech. So one of the actors beside me had a microphone, and I said, give me that. And he gave me the microphone, and I said, chciałbym tylko powiedzieć, and the audience went bananas. They just
Oh
like
my goodness.
cheering and screaming. It's not like, holy shit. I thought they'd like the idea, but wow. So I got through all of that. And then the MC made some joke about Google Translate, and that's it. We finally got off stage. But I can tell you this. I'm going to know that speech in Polish for the rest of my freaking life. Indelibly stamped in there now.
I bet it is. Oh my gosh. I'm jealous since I forget everything. So
well, anytime I start worrying about, is my memory starting to go? I just think about that speech and I go, no, you're okay. Don't worry.
You're fine. Yeah. Well, at least you have that good touch point. Yeah. I forget my kids' names all the time. Well,
I think about
I have to go through
math.
I go through the whole cycle before I remember which one I'm talking to.
Oh,
I
my
eventually get it
grandma used to
right.
do that all the time. I had 5 brothers, and she used to have to get to through all 6 of us before we got to the right one.
Yep.
I have a question for you.
Yes, Scarlett, that's exactly what it says. It says crisis actor. I bought this T-shirt online from a woman in San Francisco. This was back when the Parkland, Florida shooting happened, and the survivors of that were being called crisis actors by right-wing fanatics and all the rest of this. And so this woman created these T-shirts, and she was selling them to raise money for the ACLU. And I said, I got to have one of those because that's just be perfect. And she said, can I get a picture of you in it? I said, yeah, totally. So she put it on her website.
That's awesome.
Put it on under the yellow suit.
Yeah, there you go. Oh.
All right. Well, all right. Harold Perrineau is live right now. Oh, we must jet. Yeah, apparently on Instagram.
I got a bone with that guy.
You might want to hop on there. No.
Yeah.
Well, I sent him. He did an interview with somebody online, and he said that the man in yellow sucks. So I left a little comment at the bottom saying, Harold, I'm wounded. Now I understand. This is why you never call, you never write. Anyway, I might just go on there and see if I can.
Oh, it's over with. We missed it.
When can you miss it, eh? There you go.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
That happened.
Well, Doug, you did such a great job. I'm really, really happy that I got to meet you, and I'm really excited about this season and where it's going to go. But you did an excellent job as the Yellow Man.
Well, thank you.
And you're not scary in real life at all.
Oh my God, no. I know. They paint you gray and blacken your teeth, and I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
That yellow suit. I love that yellow suit. To me, it's up there with Princess's pink fuzzy coat. So
lots of people say, you should do that on Halloween. I say, yeah, you're right. Or they're saying they were going to go out for Halloween and, put on a yellow suit. I said, I should do that, because people are going to go, wow, you look just like that guy.
Exactly.
Now it makes me want to go there for Halloween. I'm going to miss my Halloween in Atlanta. But this one should be pretty good. And my costume will be brand new.
The man in yellow. Have you guys seen these?
I can't see what that is.
Does it say from?
These are the sweatshirts that we got from production this year. Check this out.
Shut
Oh my
up!
gosh, I love that. That is amazing. That is amazing.
Those are the things that I'm going to miss about not working on set anymore is the swag. That is awesome.
That is an amazing jacket.
When I got it, I wrote them back. I said, this is awesome. I said, now everywhere I go, I can say that the man in yellow literally has my back.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I would buy one of those. I honestly would. That's amazing.
I'm kind of surprised that they don't have merch, that they could sell, because people would snap that stuff up. God knows they buy enough of it from
merch.
Yeah.
I have to. These are the posters. We have season 1, season 2. I'm saving for season 3 and 4. But 4, we don't know yet. But in the meantime, these things are what will pay to keep the podcast going. So please buy them, folks. You can get them on Etsy. It is the What is From Shop 2 on Etsy. So please buy.
That's not hard to remember at all. No.
No, not at all. And Doug, I would appreciate it if you would repost if I post the selling of these. I know, it's just, I just want to keep the podcast going.
This was great.
By the way, I want to say thank you for sending me, because you sent me a copy of the season 1 poster, which is now hanging in my bedroom as we speak.
You should have season 2 as well.
Oh, it might. No, I think I only got the 1.
All right. So this doesn't look familiar.
Just a second. I'm going to go and check. I don't think that's the same as the one I got.
All right. He went into his bedroom, Lisa.
That's hilarious. I know. He's going to go bring that. He's going to bring it back.
Yeah. Yeah. These, especially
really
now,
good.
like,
Yeah,
I definitely
really
like
great.
these have to support the podcast.
No, it says right on it. Season number 1.
I'm going to have to get you number 2. You've got number 1. You're going to need number 2.
Well, that's
There
very
you go.
sweet.
Yeah. So yeah. So Etsy, What is From Shop 2? That is where you get that. So again, thank you so much. I know we'll be talking again.
Thank you.
I know.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for squeezing us in. I mean, especially last minute. I think this was you were the perfect person to have on. The perfect.
I agree.
The Julie kind of scares me.
Why?
You're scarier no, you are pretty scary as a man, but man, she's so deceptive. No one will suspect her at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of people say Julie and I think of Hannah, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got to meet Julie, but only very, very briefly. Actually, I think
Because she disappeared when you looked?
No, because we were just literally like ships in the night. She was there one day when I was shooting a scene, and we got to say hello, like, again, literally just hello. And then we had to do some CGI stuff here in Toronto at a place, and we were both scheduled to be there like within 10 minutes of each other. So I got to see her. That's the only time I've met her, but she's a sweetie.
Yeah. I talked to her mom on Facebook. So that's, I don't know. I just have from the beginning, I think.
Well, if you're if you're talking to her, please tell her that I just love her work, and please give her daughter my best, because I think she's doing a marvelous job.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, you froze for a minute, Liz. I could hear you, but you were frozen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For me, it could have been my connection. Who knows?
No, you were frozen here too, but no biggie. Okay. You're back.
I'm just a frigid bitch, basically.
You are not.
Well, on that cheery note, anyway, thank you very much again, and I'm sure we'll do this again real soon.
I would love it.
Congratulations, Doug. And
thank you.
Looking forward to seeing more of you.
I just feel so fortunate to get to do this. I really do.
I totally understand.
Awesome. Yeah.
I totally understand. So cool. And they couldn't have picked a better guy.
Well, bless you. And everybody in the cast or in the chat, pardon me, for sticking around, and we'll see you all soon. Okay.
Yeah. And thanks everybody for coming in. What was I going to say? I just, for the problems that we had, I had, and basically my own stupidity, I think we had a pretty good opening night. Yes.
Thanks for letting me join. This is great.
All right. And I'll see you next week, Lisa. And I'll see
All
you on Instagram.
For sure.
I'm sure. I don't know how to end this. So, end stream. Good night. Thank
Good
you,
night,
everybody.
guys.
And we'll see you next Sunday at
Okay.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.
All right. I
Did
think
It says we're
just
still
ended
live.
it. Did I?
Mhm.
Am I?
No.
I don't know. Oh,
It's
there we
It
go.
says live.